Now who gotta move rockin' on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Single bottle, never stop it. To the beast and load 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes? Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I am Dell Upman, joined by the Big Savage Greg. What's up, buddy?
Dude, I don't know about you all right now, but after watching that press conference, Duke usually is a calm person, but I'm ready to jump through a wall right now. I am fucking fired up. I was just getting ready to text Dale, should we do a show? Dale beat me to it, and I'm fucking fired up, man.
Yeah, and we're going to try to pull it up. We'll see if my internet cooperates with me. Chop is busy, so he won't be on here. So our backup plan is we don't have one. So we'll just see if this works, if my internet cooperates, and we will listen to him answer questions and talk, and then we will talk. We will react to what he says and our thoughts on his comments specifically. Zach's on here too, but we probably won't get to that one. I don't think Zach was as much. I'm more interested in Duke and what he had to say for once.
Hugely disappointed.
So you have to tell me if you can hear it louder.
Disappointed in the season, as disappointed as our fans are. We have super high expectations for our football team. We believe we have a championship caliber football team. Our fans believe that as well. We did not achieve what we wanted to achieve. While we finished the year with 5 straight wins, in the middle of the season, we managed to turn wins into losses. 7 times we did that, and it kept us out of a shot to win the championship. We believe we're a championship caliber team, and we'll go to work and put it back together in the best way, and we'll compete for the championship next year. And with that, I'll take your questions. Paulie D, why don't you start us off? Whatever you want to talk about, Paulie. Yeah, T. Higgins. Seems like 3, 4, or 5 years I've been talking about T. I think you guys all know what I feel about T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is a fantastic football player, and I want him on my football team. Whenever I'm in charge of a football team, I want T. Higgins. And so I'm going to do what I can to get T. Higgins. Our preference with T. Higgins is to do a long-term agreement. Always has been. It continues to be, and we'll work hard to get that done. You know, we are fortunate. We've got a lot of really good football players, fantastic football players, and we're fortunate to be in a position to where we can fit them all in. We've managed our cap well. We've got low dead money. We want a high payroll and low dead money so the people that are in Cincinnati playing for us can get all the money. That's what we want. And we're in a position to re-sign these guys, and it's a good position to be in. It really is, and we're going to attack it. And hopefully, we don't want to just re-sign these guys and pay more for the same football team we had last year. We want to add to it as well. So we want to re-sign these guys, reward them for their ability level, and add to the football team. So it's a tall task. We think we're up to it, and Katie's got us in position to attack it well.
All right. So right off the bat, you got T. Higgins talk. You've got all kinds of good stuff there, I thought. So what was your I like long term, that's what it should be. He doesn't rule out the franchise tag. He doesn't really talk about the franchise tag yet. I think that's mentioned later on in this press conference. But I like what I heard there, and I like my favorite part. I told you this before we went on. My favorite part of the whole thing is him saying we need to add to it. They need to realize they need to add to it. And you can't do that just through the draft with 6 picks right now. It's got to be free agency too. So that all sounded good for me.
Dude, that sounded good. And should we wait till he talks about the franchise tag, or can I talk about it now?
No, whatever. You can talk about it now.
Yeah, because they asked about the franchise tag. He's like, we're not doing any franchise tag. Our goal right now is to get a long-term deal done. So, buddy, I think we're going to be watch out here the next 7 days. We're going to be on the T watch out. Even if it has to be a show at 3 a.m, we said we do. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But no, we are going to be on a watch out. I mean, dude, I have never seen Duke look so confident in my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, I was very excited with just his attitude there and his demeanor. Dustin with the super chat says, what this should do for fans to make clear, Duke is just an employee. He's not the family, not ownership. And in a way, it's putting pressure on the Blackburns. I think they're all in alignment because they have to be in alignment this time with Joe Burrow. So I don't think if the family didn't want him to come up here and say how confident he kind of is, I don't think he would have done it.
Yeah, no. A lot of times I've heard fans criticize Duke Tobin. He's got that look on his face like he doesn't care. I've always heard that. I mean, dude, there's no way Duke goes up there and says all that stuff without consulting with the family first. I mean, I get what you're saying, Dustin, but Duke is so close to I just can't see him saying all that stuff. And like, the Blackburn segment side, like, oh, we didn't tell you to say that. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, and he said they're in lockstep and they talk all the time, and he'll talk more about that coming up in this. Yeah, he's fired up. His son got a Super Bowl ring before him. Yeah, he did, because he said his son was with the Eagles this year. Yeah. So, and he said his son takes all the credit. Yeah, so I'll try to get some comments here and there, but I'm going to be a lot of times over on the Twitter. And we'll go to the next one. And you can't really hear the questions, but you can't in the press conference. So that's not us. And if you need me to turn volume up, let me know. But I think you guys said it was okay. Sounded okay to you, Greg?
Yeah, you heard a bit of an echo and all that, but nothing terrible or anything.
Okay.
Franchise tag. Yeah, I don't have breaking news on that. I'm aware that I have a franchise tag, yes. But our preference is a long-term deal, and that's what our focus is right now.
I mean, that's just pretty much what we already talked about. So we'll.
Yeah, I'm optimistic until there's reason not to be, and I've always been optimistic with T, and I want a long-term deal. He fits with us, and we fit with him. It's a great match, and so there's no reason not to work hard to continue the relationship for sure. Yeah. Yeah, obviously T is the one that's not signed for the future right now. And so that, puts the onus on us to do something there one way or the other earlier. Jamar is always going to be our priority. He's a fantastic football player. He's going to end up being the number one paid non-quarterback in the league. We're there. Let's get it done. The earlier we can do some of this stuff, the freer it gives us to build the rest of the team. We have other needs that we want to build. And so we want to get these kind of things done early enough to where we can really focus on building out the rest of the football team. But they're all priorities to us. But the ones that aren't signed are the ones that are on the table first.
So, I mean, he's talking about Jamar's contract, making him the highest paid. It's not the first time that he mentioned that. He mentioned that in the interview with Kelsey Conway before as well. So, I mean, I think to me, you hope they're close to a deal knowing that. Obviously, he's going to get more, but how much more is the question. Jefferson got, $35 million average annual value? I'm guessing the Bengals would like to keep that 36 to 38. But if the reports that Jamar wants 40, that's probably what they're negotiating over and trying to come to common ground on, along with guaranteed money.
We got to think also they're probably just picking up where they left off last year, because it was just they had an agreement.
Close,
It was just the cash, and I'm sure. So it's like, okay, we're just picking up where we left off. We're just putting this away in the cabinet, right?
Well, they can't though, because Jamar had a Triple Crown season.
Right, exactly. Well, no. They took what they did. They're just adding on to the project, what you could say, and all that. But no, Dale, Duke comes out and said when he comes out and says he will be the highest paid non-quarterback. I mean, how more confident can you get?
Yeah, I mean, and they know they're not letting him leave. They're going to pay him. No. And it sounds like, though, they'd like to get that done, and they'd like to get T done. Trey talks about a little bit on later. It doesn't sound like as big a priority when you take the other comments with it. I mean, Obviously, I've been saying I'd like to see them all have them done for the same reason he said, because then you know what you have and how much you can spend on outside free agents, which to improve the team, because I still think we need a guard or two. We need to some more defensive pieces as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, I mean, obviously you're glad when a contract gets signed, but yeah, I'm just tired when it comes down to the day or two before the season starts.
Yeah, and I think they're wanting to avoid that. So I'm hoping that they're a little closer, and they're going to be closer. And here over the next week and a half or so, they can get closer to where when free agency is getting ready to start, it's done or almost done, or they have the money basically accounted for what it's going to be, even if it's not signed yet.
What % chance do you think they'll just announce T and Jamar together? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, that's just so hard to tell, right? Because I think the information will come out as soon as one gets done. Now, I mean, maybe they don't do a press conference, but I mean, they're probably not going to get done at the exact same time, or know. But officially announced by the Bengals with a press conference, I could see that.
Yeah.
We'll go to the next.
What was that? A signed contract, I guess, is the only way I can answer that. What needs to happen? That's what needs to happen. Has anything changed? Well, he's got a new representation, so maybe that'll push it over. I don't know, but
reading between the lines, Mulligeta's an asshole to work with.
We can run parallel paths with the same representation, and that's what we'll do. But I'm optimistic. I want deals done, just like our quarterback wants deals done. Everything he says, I agree with. I want them done. I want the best players available. And I also want to add more players to our team. Again, I don't want to just pay more money for the same team we had last year. We have other needs, and I want to go after those needs as well.
Yeah, I like what I heard there. We'll get one more and then stop it.
No. We're in a good situation with our cap and how we've managed our cap to get these other things done without any adjustment there.
All right, so last couple has been about, that one sounded like about Joe's restructure. I mean, because once again, we can't hear the questions, but I'm guessing that's what that was about. And I don't think that's something they need to do at the moment anyways, because they've got plenty of space, plenty of cap space, and that shouldn't be an issue. And they still can make a couple more cuts. So Derek has popped in. Now he's popped out. I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to inform Derek that we are going over this, listening to the press conference and kind of reacting after every question or two that we go through. He wants his players. He wants to add to the team. That's one of the things I'm most excited about. What are your thoughts when you hear that from Duke Tobin, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me excited too. Sounds to me like he's doing exactly what we've been saying we would raise hell if he didn't do. So, I mean, I'm all for it.
Yeah, which they don't always do that though. Like they don't always, especially they don't come on here and talk about much of it. So he sounds more positive than he would typically sound on most of these situations because maybe they're not near as close usually. And this year they're like, no, we got it. We got to do it. Joe's put the pressure on us and we're going to do it. So now it's just a matter of getting it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Derek.
And like one of the main things is like, and it makes you wonder too, because like
that part.
I'm sure as a guy, like if you were able to ask Duke, like, hey, be 100% honest with me, would you do these things if you had complete autonomy to do the things you wanted without being like second guessed or anything like that? And I feel like he would say, yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like he's getting that control to do what he needs to do to make this offense and this team great.
Yeah, and he don't write the checks, right? And any GM would say, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but if the ownership's not going to sign off on it and pay the guys, then your hands are a bit tied there. But you do want your GM to have more of a say. We'll go on to the next one.
Great question.
Yeah, I can never hear him.
What do I see? What do I think when I see Joe? I think there's our quarterback, and I'm glad we have. And
Boner
anything
alert!
he said that
what he
that
thinks.
I'm not in complete alignment on. I want the good players too, and I think that they ought to be paid to their ability level, and that's what we're going to do.
Joe makes me hard as a translation.
The questions on how re-signing them is going to impact our ability to build the defense. I think we have ability to build the defense if we can get clarity on it and structure them in a way that that is beneficial. But if they linger, it kind of creates a little bit of uncertainty. But we're going to attack the defense, and we already have. We know our defense wasn't good enough. It couldn't get stops when we needed it. Couldn't protect leads. It didn't get off the field. And then, in critical moments when the game was on the line, it didn't rise to the occasion. 4th and 16 against Kansas City. That's one play. We win one game. Now we're in the playoffs. But that's countless games throughout the year, whether it's our offense converting a first down to run the clock out to win the game, whether it's our special teams converting a field goal to win the game, but multiple times a fumble going into the end zone, all the things that happened. It was a crazy year. We're a championship level team that didn't get an opportunity, and that irritates us. It irritates all of us. It irritates our fans, and we're not happy about it. And we're going to attack the offseason to make sure it doesn't happen again.
I like that. You got to own it. It wasn't good enough. Yeah, we're talented. We're a talented team. We should be in the playoffs. We got guys like Joe Burrow, who I was just talking about, who gives me a giant boner, knowing that he's the franchise quarterback of this team. Because when you got that piece, you always got a chance. But yeah, just talking about attacking it, and it's not good enough for them. It's not good enough for us as fans. What do you guys think about those comments?
Hey, he's saying all the right things. He's like, hey, look, I see what you guys see. This is embarrassing. This is disappointing. There's no excuse at all. So I like the fact, hey, this is unacceptable. I respect everything he just said right there.
Crypt Keeper. Yes, I'm very jealous of Duke's tan.
And no hat for Duke, so he was all business.
I know.
Yeah.
I figured he'd have the Cincy hat on or something, got the Cincy hat. Actually, I'm wearing the nice ones we had at the draft event last year, which Greg, looks like you got the same one on, which I don't know if you guys talked about, but we're definitely going to have a special one for this draft event as well.
Yeah, one that is super top secret, but we may have just seen a picture of it, and it is fantastic. So make sure you get your tickets, because it's an exclusive for the draft event, just like those ones were last year. So make sure that you get your tickets to come to the draft event, Polling Warehouse.
Prematurely ejaculated when I seen it.
Oh, me too.
But no, back to Duke. Speaking of ejaculating, I think now I don't know. I think that was more coach speak than anything, because, of course, he's going to say it wasn't. They didn't make the playoffs. They didn't win the Super Bowl, so he's obviously going to say, we didn't finish the year out how we wanted to. We didn't do the things we wanted to do. That, to me, is kind of just coach speak.
But I like the part about improving the defense specifically. We're going to attack improving the defense. So hopefully that means you're going to bring in some quality free agents, especially on the defensive line. That doesn't have to be the top of the market guys. We've been going through a lot of the free agents, and there's, the mid-tier guys, the Calais Campbells of the world that you can sign for a year, but it still makes your team better. As you're trying to win a Super Bowl this year, you're trying to get back to the playoffs and go win the damn thing. So attack it, and attack it can be in a lot of ways. So I hope they actually, as he talked about, the proof will be in the pudding. He talks about later. It wasn't pie, it wasn't apples, it was pudding today.
And I love pudding. I love pudding. That needs to be a T-shirt.
No doubt. So as the questions are going, we really can't hear shit. So when Duke speaks, it's the only time we can hear anything. But that's how it is when you're listening.
Do we have to get creative structuring the contracts? Well, sure. I mean, you're always creative because the other side wants you to be creative. And so we're going to do what we can to satisfy whoever we're negotiating with to get a deal done. And I hope they recognize, the restrictors we have. It's a negotiation is just that. It's a negotiation. It's not a I ask and you say yes. And we don't expect them to just do what we want, and they have to expect some negotiation because we're putting together a big picture, and our players want a good football team, and we're going to attack that and respect that, and also respect the level of production and ability level our players have. We're not trying to insult anybody, particularly at the top of our football team. We're fortunate to have fantastic football players, and we're going to treat them as such.
Basically, we know, especially Jamar Chase is going to break the fucking bank, is what he's saying there. And we're not going to have a choice. Like I've already mentioned, going to have to make him one of the highest paid guys. So that's the translation I get from that one. What do you guys get from those comments?
Being creative, that's what you want to hear and all that. You got to be creative. Do you agree with the whole dead money thing, though? That's one thing I was a little confused by, yeah?
Well, dead money is just like when you release a guy and you don't owe him a bunch left over. So, like, there are going to be some guys that they release this year, like Sheldon Rankins, you're still going to have, a couple $1 million of dead money for this season. And sometimes you just got to eat that, though. But you can't keep a guy here for $10 or $12 million that's not performing $10 or $12 million worth. You got to eat $1.5 million, $2 million. So it's the way you structure the contract so you don't end up having, because sometimes guys will cut a player and they got to eat, 75% of that contract if they cut him.
Yeah.
So they're only saving a fourth. They're only saving a fourth of it, if that, or if it's fully guaranteed, they're not saving jack shit by cutting him. So they're just stuck with him because if they cut him, what's the point? But then your team's not any good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what I heard was, have you ever bought a car before? You know what it's like to buy a car. You know the process of buying a car. That's kind of how we are with this. If you're buying a Corvette or a Ferrari, you go out there and you just pay the price. But if you're buying a freaking Chevy Trax, there's going to be some negotiating. If you're going to go out there and buy a freaking Duramax, like a Trey Hendrickson, there's going to be some negotiating. But all in all, it does sound to me like they do want to get the stuff done.
Yes, they do.
As we're going through the questions, which we can never hear once again.
Trey. Yeah, Trey's super passionate. It's exactly what makes him a great football player, and he is super engaged. And we're cognizant. He's been a great signing for us. We've been a great fit for him. He's been a great fit for us. We would like to extend that. We would like to keep him not only happy, but with us on a longer term basis. And we're going to talk, he's under contract right now, and we're going to talk as the off season goes and hopefully come up to an agreement that everyone's acceptable of, but are we there yet? We're not there yet.
So that one, not as exciting as the other two players that we've talked about in Chase and Higgins. To me, that's kind of like, yeah, you're under contract, Trey, and we'll get to you. Don't be out here demanding a trade like last year. We want to keep you. We want to extend you, but it doesn't sound like they're close, right? Because apparently if they met like they were supposed to last week, they must not have got too much traction on getting close to a deal because it doesn't sound like they're that close, and it may take a while on Trey's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so exactly. If you had to pick the most negative one out of all of them, that's it. And if that's the most negative one, I guess in a way that's a good thing. They still want to keep him, but it's like, look, we want you here, but we're still like right here and right here. So, and like you just said, Dale, you're under contract. We got to get, if I had to make a guess right now, the last one to get signed would be Trey, if that, just the way how Duke talked right there. So, I guess, they're like, it depends on how we can bolster up the defense. Maybe that plays a role into it too. That's just another opinion I have with it.
Yeah, I
agree.
I just think like
with questions on Mike Gesicki and where does that?
I was trying to get through the non-talking.
Yeah,
was
with the Trey Hendrickson thing, like I feel like he's saying in negotiating, like Trey, you're 30. And Trey's like, Duke, I'm the sack leader, and then he's like, yeah, but Trey, you're 30. And that's kind of where they're stuck at.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like there's been any drop-off in his play.
Yeah.
And he's talked about long-term security. So they could also be arguing over how long of an extension. Maybe Trey's saying, I want 3 years. And they're saying, well, we'll tack on 2 to the year you already have. That could be part of this too. So there's a lot of things that goes into these negotiations. They could be far apart on. It may not just be money. It could be years, could be guaranteed money, could be quite a few things.
But it's not too worrisome. Let's put it that way.
Not yet, right? There's nothing to worry about till there is, he said.
The only thing I really worry about with Trey is because like the Bengals have never been the kind of team to just trade away their top talent.
Right.
What worries me is he's gonna play for him this year regardless. But does that become a problem in the hey, I'm sitting out half the year, I'm sitting out, like,
right.
We start to go into training camp, and that's the kind of stuff that worries me because I don't see them trading him at all.
But going back to an interview Trey did where Ross Tucker tried to throw the Bengals under the bus, he says, wait, they've been good to me. And then Trey has said they have had good conversations. So that's something else to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And this next one's talking about Mike Gesicki.
Yes, slurping.
That's it. We've been pretty good at bringing tight ends in and having them have successful seasons. Mike was fantastic for us. I think Mike's a priority guy for us. I think he fits with us. I think he found out he fits with us. Tight ends tend to fit with us. We got Joe Burrow, and we value them in our game plans and how we structure our offense. And Mike was a great fit. And to Mike's credit, he came in, bought in, learned quickly, and fit right in. And so it's a great match. I'd love to have Mike Gesicki back, and we're going to work to try to do that. And we'll see if it can happen.
So it almost started like he's, the typical, well, we can pretty much get any tight end and make him a decent ball player. And I was like, uh-oh. But then it's like, oh, yeah, this is one of the guys Joe Burrow mentioned. He really wants Mike Gesicki back. Yes, we're going to try really hard to get Mike Gesicki back. So, but that sounds positive, right? And he was very glowing about Mike Gesicki there. He's like, he was tremendous for us this year. He's fantastic, so he knows the value they've gotten him and the comfortability with Burrow. Yeah, if he has Burrow for another year together, I think, that'll be great. And he was trying to say that, like, he's a good fit for us and we're a good fit for him. Keep that in mind, Mike. Don't just go chase a bag and want to come back a year later because things didn't work out and they cut you a year later. And then,
don't go chasing waterfalls, Mike.
Yeah, we've got to compromise here.
Yeah,
well, Dale, like you said when he first said, "Well, we usually have good luck." I'm like, "Well, remember Irv Smith?" Just so you know, but no.
Yeah, you don't always.
Yeah, not
honestly,
always,
I could see Mike getting potentially getting a 5-year deal here. I mean, he'd done enough to prove it. Oh, I would. And
28 years old,
having if you have the last 2 years being no dead money, something like that, to where you could cut him with no, give him a 5-year deal, give him that what he wants. It seems to me is having that security. So you put on I would love a 3-year contract.
Yeah,
give him a 5-year
that's
contract.
All he would get anywhere.
5
would be crazy.
I think a 2-year deal, man, at the very most.
I just knowing the type of player he is, I could see him lasting, another 5-6 years in the league. And if you give him a 5-year contract with no dead money the last 2 years, that could be the security that he needs. Maybe get him for less money that way. You never know.
I don't know. I think a 2-3 year deal for Gesicki is plenty, and you don't mess with it, and you figure it out. But
3 years, man.
And you got to look like those tight ends we're talking about that left. The grass wasn't always greener. What does C.J. Uzomah do? What did Hayden Hurst do?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, to
DJ
me,
won a ring.
2-3 years, man. 5 years. 5 years, man. Whew.
Yeah.
There's off the deep end with 5 years. I can't even think.
No, I get what you're saying there, but yeah.
To Joe Burrow, I talk to him a lot. I mean, he's a member of our team, and he's an important partner in what we're doing. And
he felt real good about being a smart ass with that answer. I talked to Joe Burrow. He's a member of our team.
Chase Brown. Yeah, we really had a lot of hope for Chase, and he kind of made us right this year. He's a guy that early in the draft process we liked because he was kind of dynamic outside of the core and also inside the core. really, really bright, really energetic. He's really progressed in his pass receiving skills, and then he's coming along as a pass protector, and so he's a really good fit. We put a big load on him this year, more load than what we had thought we were going to put on him. He responded to it, and he held up, and that was an important part of our late finish.
So they gave Chase Brown a big load.
Huge load.
It just sounds a little dirty there, but no, Chase Brown and then Zach Taylor. I watched most of his press conference as well, and he talked glowingly about Chase Brown, and they kind of talked about, sometimes we got to use him almost the whole game. We'll use him the whole game, but you'd like to have another guy, and I think we all expect them to potentially sign one and draft one or an undrafted free agent in a very, very deep running back class. Just added another one to the draft guide. So up to 28 bad boys in the player profiles in the draft guide of running backs.
That's great. And what didn't you say normally there's like 20 draftable
20 that
backs?
get drafted has been the average over like the past 5 years and the past 10 years. That's
insane to me.
Well, they say the Browns just came out and said they expect Chubb to hit the market, but like you said, injury issues probably scare the hell out of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he's very cheap, but if he's still wanting to get one last contract grab here for him, one last shot at a decent payday, I'm not going to be the one to give it to him with his injury history.
Honestly, the more I get to thinking about it, with this running back class, I could see a lot of these running backs this year getting less money than they thought they would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, and a Khalil Herbert, why not just bring him back? You did give 7th round draft capital. If you sign him back on a cheap 1 or 2 year deal, you feel even better about your trade that, you got a guy that showed that he could handle the load if needed, like he did. Oh, God, I'm doing it now, too. Pause. He can handle the load, too. He can take the load.
Yeah,
we could all handle heavy loads.
Kareem Hunt was mentioned as a possible fit for the Bengals.
Yeah, like I said, any of those guys, if they're cheap, Samaje Perine, maybe he comes back around again this time. I'm just saying, but even if I bring in a guy, Khalil Herbert, Samaje Perine, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, who the fuck ever, I still would look at drafting one because, Travion Henderson, love what he's done here. Not Henderson, Travion Williams, thinking of the Buckeye player.
I do that every time too.
But Travion Williams, what's he really done here? He doesn't provide super value. They found other guys that can do the return game stuff. So no knock on him. He's been great here. He's had a nice long career with us, but I don't think he should be guaranteed any type of roster spot. So I'm looking to bring in at least 2 guys for competition, 1 in free agency, 1 through the draft.
And see, I don't. KP from KC saying Hunt's done. I don't necessarily agree with that. You've seen KC brought him in for half the season last year, and he balled out there for a while. He might not have the tires that he used to have, but in a reduced minimal role, I think he could still be a solid running back for a team.
Yeah, and he's a bigger running back, so you're thinking goal line. That's what I'm thinking for some of those guys, more their goal line than ability than anything. Somebody for the short yardage, because that's been an issue still for this team.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Can a running back go number 1 overall? I don't know. I guess if Walter Payton were in this draft, I might think about taking.
Nope, only the dumbass Bengals would trade up for Kajana Carter.
I think quarterbacks have that kind of on lock. Or
we don't have the number 1 pick.
Pass rusher, or maybe a guy that plays 6 positions like the one at my alma mater. But we'll see.
And he says, I also have a boner for Travis Hunter.
Yeah. With our ownership, how involved are they? Highly involved. They're there every day. They've been there every day of their careers, and they'll continue to do that. And they're super good at what they do.
Yeah, and that thing they're super good at, what they do, is sign my fucking paychecks. So what the hell do you expect me to say about this ownership? They're involved and they're fantastic. Keep them checks coming, baby. I've been here for 20 years.
It goes back to people pointing out that Duke Tobin's just an employee, but you see how much ownership's involved. So clearly, it's not like Duke does not stay in contact with ownership. I guarantee he sees them probably every single day. It goes back to what he's wanting to get done. I guarantee that's what ownerships do. on the same page with.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think, with Duke, that's why he's been there for 20 years, because he does the role of GM, and they don't have to ever give him that title, it doesn't sound like. So, because if you give a guy that title, they are going to expect to have more say than what, almost than what you do when it comes to running the football team, the day-to-day stuff. And the Bengals don't want to give that control up. That's part of the problem. So, even if, it's like, get rid of Duke, well, if they do, guess what? They're just going to bring in somebody else that's going to do what they say at the end of the day. Ultimately, I mean, you got some say, but also they're gonna do what they want.
Just burnt the fucking pizza. Oh,
damn
it! No,
put another one in.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw that one away.
What kind of pizza is it?
It is a bacon lovers pizza. I was all excited for it too.
Okay.
Nah, you can still eat it. Burnt fucking pizza.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah. No, but I think these are the questions that you're going to have to really listen to and read between the lines. Like, this is the same type of question that he was asked last year when he brought up, Marius Mims. And these are when he starts talking drafts, you really got to pay attention to these questions and read between the lines, because a lot of times they'll give hints at guys that they're really interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long question, apparently.
Yeah, the Eagles. Hats off to them. They've done a great job building their roster out, and they've got some high level players on big deals. Not as big as the deals that we're talking about making, but big deals. And then they've hit on draft picks, and that's what we've got to do. We've hit on some draft picks. We've got some guys that are in the pipeline coming in the last 5 games. I think some of our young guys started to come, which was great on the defensive side of the ball. And then we mentioned, Chase and, Eric Hall. It was unfortunate that he got hurt, but he was on pace to really be a dynamic tight end in our league. And I think Amarius Mims has a chance to be a Pro Bowler next year. He's a fantastic right tackle, and if he can stay healthy, I think he's got a world of potential. But the young DBs, we'll get them back healthy. That'll be good. Young guys like DJ Ivey and Fig Newton having to take on bigger roles. But some of those young guys got a taste of winning because we won the last 5 games and gave ourselves a chance, and they had to be relied on for a role. And so that was good to see. But hats off to Philly. My son works there, and he thinks he's the reason for the season, I think.
So this one is one I had maybe a little problem with when I think about it. Maybe it's my PTSD, but they're asking him about, like, how the Eagles are paying so many guys and making that work. And he tries to pivot. Well, we're going to have bigger contracts than them. So, we might not be able to pay as many. But we also got young guys coming up because we've drafted. No, you haven't. And then he proceeds to mention, and he just mentions a bunch of positions, not a lot of players. And he mentioned Amarius Mims. Guess what? You got him here for 4 more fucking years. We're not going to start the clock on worrying about his damn contract extension, Duke Tobin. You got him 3 more and a 5th-year option. So don't give me that line of bullshit that everyone bought when you let Jesse Bates go and DJ Reader. That one I didn't like because I had the PTSD from letting other players go because it's like, well, we got these guys down the pipeline 3-4 years. These guys could be hurt and never fucking. He mentioned fucking Eric Hall, who may never play a down in football again.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to worry about paying Eric Hall.
But you know what you never have to worry about? Midwest Best Barbecue and the Chop Shop. Proud sponsors of the show. You never need to worry about any of those two. Go ahead.
Got that in like a boss.
Yep.
You got to pay them too.
Yep.
What was that again?
Yeah, we didn't hear it either.
Yeah, Al Golden coming on. Yeah, Al is super hands-on, and we want our coaches to be super hands-on. We want to be in alignment when we take a guy. We want a vision for him, and we want everybody on board. Everybody that touches that guy is on board with
no
it.
Diddy.
You
should have said no
Diddy. Is going to work towards the plan. And Al is super engaged, super high energy, hands-on, knows exactly what he wants. His coaches know what he wants. So it's going to be great working with him and looking forward to it. I think he would have a pretty good idea of what's playing on the college level right now.
We like Al Golden. That's why we hired him.
Next.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
I agree.
It is a good reason.
It's valuable that he's got that experience. He's going to have recruited a lot of these guys. He's going to have played against a lot of these guys. He's going to have game planned against a lot of these guys. And So what he knows, we'll download, and he won't be shy to help us. You know, it's a collaboration with our coaching staff and our personnel staff. You know, we want alignment. If there's not alignment, we're going to find it, and we're going to make sure that everyone sees what the other is seeing. And then if we can't find alignment, we'll go in a different direction. But you know, we want that alignment, and it's been great working with Al so far.
Yeah, basically, will you lean on Al Golden during the draft? Yeah, we lean on all our damn coaches in the draft.
Mhm.
Our scouts are going to be part of the process too. But if he has information on a guy that he absolutely pounds the table for, we're probably going to go with what he wants a little bit because he's been there and he knows these guys better than us.
Yeah, sounds like he listened to Bengals and Brews yesterday on podcast form, maybe.
There you go. Probably did. Any thoughts on that, Greg, or any of the other ones we've gone through here lately?
You know, not really. Like I said, with Al Golden, and like I say, Al Golden, he's probably gonna have a big say because, like you said, he coached, like he was just saying, he coached against a lot of these guys in college. So he's gonna have, even if it's an offensive guy they want to draft, he's like, hey, this guy gave me nightmares when I played against him at Notre Dame when I was at Notre Dame and all that. So yeah, no, I definitely see Golden having a big say or a big, you know, reason why a certain player could get drafted.
I think there's a few more. He starts getting grouchy at the
confidence
end.
that we can pay high levels to our high level players. Well, I guess it'll just be the proof is in the pudding.
Pudding
gives us confidence that we can do that.
Proof's in the pudding.
We believe we can do it, and we believe we can fit other things in too. But we'll see how it all nets out at the end.
We're going to try to pay our players, basically.
Proof's in the pudding, Dale.
Got to do it. We found some pie.
I don't think it has really any effect. I think, you know, the question is on whether one agent with two players has an effect on the pace. And I don't think so. I think most agents are pretty accustomed to working parallel paths. And so they're just working parallel paths within themselves.
Yeah. They'll get done when they get done. All agents are working on bringing in their players. Then some weird shit happened. Like it cut out.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
So it cut out for a little bit, and then it came back.
He's going to want guys that execute what he wants, and if he wants you playing blocks and stay in square, he's going to play the guy that plays blocks and stays square.
Whether he play rookies or vets.
To secure the edge, he's going to play the guy that makes sure the edge is secured. If he wants you to play man cover and stay in inside technique, he's going to play the guy that does that. Al's going to be very open-minded on playing the best, not playing a veteran or playing a rookie. It'll be he's the best one we have, and we're going to play with him.
But we've heard from Al Golden. We've heard him say he plans on playing younger guys, getting them in there. Don't draft them to set. So I think that's a positive.
I think we'll see. You know, I think we'll see. We've kind of hit on that. You know, can we get the big contracts done and still have room to do other things? I'm hopeful. That's what I started with. I'm very hopeful that we can do that. Yeah, we have the ability. We've managed our cap well. We have low dead money, and we're going to attack it, and hopefully we'll be able to do it.
And he's like, why the hell didn't you listen to my answer earlier? And you asked me that dumbass question.
Yeah.
Defensive, like an edge guy, an interior guy. There's like 5 positions.
He's starting to get cranky at this point. You
so
can
what
tell.
we value on the defensive line depends on what technique the guy's playing. Now, we'd like a guy to be able to play a wide 9 and a nose and everything in between, but we haven't found one that can really do that. But the edge guy. So, you know, if you're looking for a rusher, we want guys that get off the ball fast, guys that can threaten the edge and then have a second move, you know, have a second move, have a plan. You know, you have to be fast, you have to be flexible, you have to have great balance, and you got to have a plan. But you got to be able to get off the ball to threaten the guy who's going to sit on you.
So I hope that means that they're not going to take one of these guys who didn't put up a lot of sack production, who don't have a huge pass rush arsenal, because that's your second move, your counter moves, these things like that. You need a guy with quick get off, athleticism, a guy who can bend around the edge, Okay, I like that too. I like a guy like Dominic Ezerique. I like Mike Green. But you guys saw the stuff on the internet today. That's the stuff we've been hearing that I said wasn't really my place to speak on, which was out there. You can go read, but since it's out there, I guess I'll mention. Apparently, and I hadn't even heard about both things till recently. There's a sexual assault is why he was dismissed from Virginia. Apparently, allegedly. This is on the internet. This is written by Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports. Yell at him, not me. This is what he reported on the internet today and in an article. And apparently there was also a similar incident when he was in high school. So one time, maybe, you think, oh, was this a false accusation? 2 times, I don't know how I'd feel about that. So I'll be kind of surprised if Mike Green's still on their board, but Donovan Ezerique, even James Pierce, but maybe undersized, maybe some other issues there. Who knows? But yeah, I'd like somebody with more bend. I'd like to see him get an edge player like that. That excites me a little bit. I don't want a big, stiff guy that don't move well.
Absolutely.
Yep, and I agree here. Ryan said it describes Pierce and Easy E. Now, Mike Green, it describes him too, but like I said, the off-field stuff, he may not end up being on their board, unfortunately. I don't think there's too much more of Duke stuff here to go through, and then we'll.
The questions on do our veteran contracts change the way we approach the draft? No, I mean, we approach the draft. We rank every position best to worst for us, and we approach the draft as we're going to take the best guy. Now, if there's guys in the same bucket, we'll maybe take a guy that fits us at the moment a little better than another, but we're not going to pass up a whole bucket to drop down to take a guy that fits the need. We're looking at them from top down. We're ranking them from top down, and we let the draft come to us. If we need to move up to get a guy who's the last of the Mohicans, we'll consider doing that. If we feel like we can move down because there's a lot of players left that we would be pleased to have, we might do that. But we rank them 1 to worst.
Yeah, so basically, and this is not new information, and they've said this before, they're going to draft best player available, but that best player, they might have guys in the same tier. Okay, here's 3 guys we got with a similar ranking. Well, this one's at a D tackle spot. This one's at running back, and this one's at corner, and we feel like we got young corners. I mean, I don't know. They could.
Well, it could.
We're going to take the D tackle if they're in the same. If they're in the same tier.
Well, to say if it's safe, Starks is there, and Derek Harmon, who's probably not too high on their board, is there. They may take that. Could mean, hey, Harmon may be a bigger need, but Starks is way higher on our board, something like that.
Well, I did like a mock draft with Tyler Warren today, and we talked about him at tight end. That's a prime example, right? If Tyler Warren's a guy, and he, like we talked about yesterday, with the first round grade, and he's the last true first round grade they have when they're at pick 17. They're probably taking Tyler Warren. I mean, and tight end is somewhat of a need, but let's say even if they bring back Gesicki, which is still kind of a need. But you know what I'm saying? I think instead of like that edge or that detail, if that's the best player on the board, okay, we're not hesitating. We're taking that guy because he's best player on the board, or the safety, like you said, Starks, or any other number of positions.
Yep.
I'm not going to be a quarterback. I highly, highly doubt it's going to be Ashton Genty in running back because, they both talk glowingly about Chase Brown, and I just don't think – they're not going to say that, but I don't think they're going that route.
Yeah. He'd love to have that Hunter guy, but –
Yeah.
I think we'll have an addition at some point. Yeah, it was
talking about running back
shame
room.
that Zach had the neck injury he had. We really thought he was an excellent addition for us, and then there was just nothing. He had to protect his neck, and it just we'll see what that looks like going forward. I don't know that we have clarity on that. Will his workload stay at the same level? Ideally, you'd want a second guy to take some of that workload off, but he surprised us and he showed us that he can handle that. And if he can handle it and he's the best guy for the moment, then he'll be in the game.
So Chase Brown, still their guy, right?
I was about to say, I don't necessarily know that they would I don't know why it surprised them. I mean, he did it in Iowa.
Illinois.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was, every down back. He had a heavy workload. That was one of the concerns, coming out, because some of those guys, the durability. So, which is why you always want to have an extra couple guys behind him that you can bring in, and that's why when a deep class like this, you can still love Chase Brown as your number one, but hey, let's get another guy in there that could do the same thing if he can't go for a game or two.
Yep.
So maybe we'll listen to one or two more. I don't like I said, they're asking the same questions toward the end about
How often
extensions.
do I ask for Al's input on the defensive players?
And Al Golden, he kind of starts answering the same stuff
all
at
the
this
time.
point.
All the time. We want alignment. We want alignment. He'll ask for our thoughts, and we'll ask for his thoughts, and we'll put them together and see where they merge. And then, the thing that we know maybe is the market for these guys and how best to spend the dollars. And,
do you though?
And we can help with that, and he can help with his vision for the player. What do we do with this guy when we pay him, when we bring him in the building? So yeah, it's a collaborative approach there too. How much weight do we put on the 40? Depends on the position. I mean, I don't put a ton of weight on the 40 if it doesn't match up with what I see on tape.
Well, you should have used that advice when you took John fucking Ross.
If it doesn't, then I'm doing what I see on tape.
Same thing.
Football is a short area, speed, burst game. It's not there just aren't the occasions to run 40 like that. You might like that in your running back, and you can consider him a home run threat if he can't get run down, but the short area speed burst is what's really important in my mind. But the 40 depends on the position you're playing.
Yeah, 3-cone drill is important. Your 10-yard shuttle in that, stuff like that is important. But the 40 is important for a position too, like cornerback. So just FYI.
Interior offensive line, our offense was pretty darn dynamic last year, and
your guards weren't.
Offensive line gets beaten on from time to time. We had to substitute guys in. We had a ton of injuries. We put a lot of pressure on our guys with how we play, but at the same time, we score points like nobody's business, and we move the ball like nobody's business, and we throw the ball like nobody's business. And the offensive line is half of that group. And so the criticism's fine. We could be a little better here, a little better there, but our offense is pretty good, and half of it was our offensive line. And I give them credit for that. I don't beat on them. Speaking out of the other side of my mouth, can we improve some of those spots? Maybe, yeah. Are we looking? Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But we're looking at every position. I don't think we're looking to take a quarterback at the top of the first, but other than that, we're looking at every position.
I think that's a good place to end it because, like I said, most of the rest aren't that much. So we'll end that part of it there. With that, frustrating at the beginning talking about the O-line play because, the O-line play still isn't great. You scored points because you got Jamar, Higgins, Gesicki, and Joe Burrow at the end of the day. But we still saw too much Cordell Volson, stepping on Joe's ankles and getting pushed back and dominated. Alex Kappa getting dominated. So he goes on to say, we're looking. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, they're looking. They're gonna try to upgrade guard. I'd be shocked if they're not. Shocked and disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, one thing also to add on that we did not see it. Jermaine Burton, he says, "Look, we're not ready to give up on him yet," but he says, "I still stand by what I said about Burton. It's all on him right now." But are you guys okay with him giving another shot on Jermaine Burton?
I mean, because we're not judge, jury, and executioner here, and we don't know the details of everything that this young man's going through. Now he's had a history of some not so great performance. Maturity, whatever word you want to put on it, there's a history of it there. So he's on a short leash, if you want to call it that, or whatever you want to say about that. He can't keep fucking up, and Duke kind of says that once again, like he did previously. It was basically the same comments he said in that Kelsey Conway article about him, which he was like, but he did say we're not giving up on him, which sounds like they have no intentions of cutting him anytime soon. They want to see if he can get his shit together and grow up. Just grow the fuck up, honestly, at the end of the day. Be a professional. This is your livelihood. You want to be out of the league or you want to be a millionaire making money here playing in the NFL, a game I hope you love if you're still playing it.
Yeah, because the talent's not
like a question at all. The talent's there. It's just a matter. There's been tons of players that have the talent. They just can't get their heads on straight, and so hopefully he takes a look at that, sees all the people in the past who have fucked up in that way, and hopefully they change it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Greg? Do you have an issue with them keeping him around right now?
I mean, you spent a third-round pick on him last year. You might as well. I mean, I'd hate to use another, or third or second or, even fourth or fifth round pick on another wide receiver. You might as well just say, hey, let's just see what he does. But, in baseball, there's 3 strikes. I think he's on strike 2 right now. Is that a fair thing to say?
I mean, I think he's got to at least be on that between the off-field stuff with the and the last game. Plus, if you just look at the games where they had to set him, that's 2 strikes really on its own. So if you're just talking, regardless what this guy's got going off the field with evictions and the girlfriend stuff and whatever else is going on, just on the field, not showing up for work and when they were counting on you, so they benched your ass, not having you go on the last trip at all because you fucked up again doing something, and maybe the off-field calls that, but that's 2 things football related that you couldn't play or perform or be a punt returner and jobs they were giving you and more responsibilities, and you screwed it up twice. So he's definitely on strike 2, in my opinion, if we're doing the 3 strikes.
Yep.
So I think he's definitely on that last strike at this point.
On another note, with Zach Taylor's interview, one thing that caught my attention.
I know. That's what I was trying to think of.
There was a certain player on that team.
Speaking of wide receivers.
Yeah, named Yoshi. He says he continues to grow, and how ironic is that? Because something was growing inside of me right now when I heard that.
Well, something's growing
inside of you.
Inside of you. It was inside of you.
Outside of me.
Himself.
Outside of me right now. Yes.
Bricked up.
Rock hard. Boner alert.
Yep.
And that's how we'll end it with Greg talking about being inside himself.
Yep.
So this is Bengals and Brews on a Tuesday because we had some action, we had some talk, we had something to talk about Bengals related, and that it's going to be few and far between at times here in the off season. So you got to get it while you can, but a lot of good stuff coming up with the combine. We'll definitely be back on Friday. Hell, maybe they'll get a couple of those deals done, but I doubt it. The Bengals can only focus on one thing at a time. And right now, they got the whole staff pretty much there focusing on the NFL scouting combine.
Well, now that Derek works third shift, if something pops up, Derek can just stop what he's doing and update what's going on. He'll do a live show at 3 in the morning.
Something Greg's pants pops up.
I'll update all y'all at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning if I have to.
Thank you all for tuning in on this pop-up show. It popped up just like Greg's pants did when Yost Voss was mentioned by Zach Taylor. So,
and if somebody can get us Duke Tobin's email so we can send him the draft guide. And if you want a draft guide, make sure it's minimum $5 donation to Project Game Day. There's probably 400 players in that thing now.
There's close to 320 player profiles. Now there's other players listed in Best of the Rest section, but about 320 player profiles. There's some charts that I put together with Excel. I didn't know how to do Excel. Hadn't used it too much, but hey,
freaking the sheets.
Had to do some charts, and I said, screw it, I'm going to figure it out. So they got some PFFFO with some charts on some O-line and D-line prospects. Got the my rankings, got all that fun stuff in there. So yeah, $5. It goes to a good charity. Haven't been being hit up for too many lately. I'm just saying.
Yep.
I keep advertising it, and I keep getting nobody hit me up. Just saying.
What I know from your post you did earlier, Dale, I think it was yesterday. Everybody loves rankings, so
they do.
I saw there was a lot of controversy on your top 50.
Yeah, I do top 60, man, because,
that's
just how
60.
it is on my page. I actually have a top 3. It's a top 300, but I only give the people 60 on the free.
You should do the top 69, buddy. Do the top 69.
Well, Greg, it doesn't fit on the page like that, so I just screenshot the one page and put it on.
Yeah,
that's why it's 60, to be honest. What's up, Declan?
Hi, Declan.
Eat your burnt pizza.
Well, guys, in other news, apparently we're going to get J.J. Watt. Now we can get Gronk now. He's coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
How about this?
Yeah.
I don't even think the Bengals would be interested in J.J. Watt, honestly.
I know, but hey, let us dream. We can dream, right?
And like, if your motivation is you own a soccer team and the player said to play, how motivated are you really to play football? And your heart's got to be in it to play. So I just think that's dumb.
All right.
Yeah, and if we're being honest,
breaking news, Greg. Taylor Swift is returning for the 2025
Hey, you know what?
season.
He's declining. Let him return. Let him return. I don't care.
If we're being honest, do you
That means
expect
more
this guy
calls
to
for the
not
Chiefs, Greg?
give up a goal all year? I mean, come on.
No, he's still got what, like 12 games or something?
Yeah.
But even then, I think it's a pointless conversation. That's why I've not engaged in it.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
No, it's not. I hate it. I'm pissed.
Hey.
I hate speculation. I hate all the bullshit.
In other news, though, we did see Dale's favorite tight end of all time was doing some stuff with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So
it's like a fantasy camp or whatever, a hockey.
Yeah.
And he had a hat trick because Drew Sample's elite at everything, Derek.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was pretty cool.
It. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll catch you on the flippity.